Well. The boys done made it to this podcast arena. My name is Des Brown, representing out of Charleston, South Carolina, the home of the Geechee Gullahs. I'm here with my boy, Coach Antonio Pullen in Dab Pickleball. Me and my friend over here have been talking over the last several months about getting this podcast started. We both do very similar things in our respective areas. He's based out of Atlanta, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm right here in Charleston, South Carolina. Just two people who really love the game of pickleball that have both started their individual businesses. We Pickle Charleston and Dab Pickleball. Just happy to be here and just talk about this game, talk about the impact that the game has had on both of us, not only as players, but also as business owners. How you doing today, Coach Pullen?
Hey, man, I'm feeling amazing right now, man. We're talking about one of my favorite topics, which is pickleball. So thank you for the amazing introduction. Like Coach Brown said, I'm here, Georgia, Atlanta, go Dogs. And, yeah, man, we're going to bring it to you real. We're going to give you all a different side of pickleball that you may have never seen.
And that's awesome, man. Like he said, we're both really excited to have the opportunity to do this. Basically, we're just going to get started with an intro to pickleball. Hey, Coach, just tell me a little bit about how you discovered the game of pickleball.
All right. So for me, man, it was random, but I'm a fitness instructor as well. And so I was teaching a fitness class at this local community center. And in the midst of the class, I had this individual that came in, and she was very adamant about telling me about pickleball. She stated, "Hey, have you heard of pickleball?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really." And fast forward, she basically said, "Hey, let me give you a private lesson so I can teach you about this sport." And so I took a 1 hour a 1 hour class with her, and it was love at first sight, and she left me with these words of wisdom. She said that you're very talented, you have great potential, but stay with this pickleball, and it's going to change your life. So for me, it was extremely random. Love at first sight. After the first class, I actually went out to a public park and played a couple games. It got pretty embarrassed, but here we are. So, Coach, that's my intro. I'm gonna turn it back over to you. How did you discover pickleball?
I discovered pickleball during the pandemic, actually. I had a buddy of mine at the time. I was playing flag football pre-pandemic. And when the pandemic hit and shut everything down, of course, just like everyone else, we were just trying to find things to do. So he had been introduced to this game a couple of months prior to that. So he just gave me a call one day and said, "Hey, I want to introduce you to this game. I'm sure you've never heard of the game, but the game is called pickleball." And I was like, "Pickleball? Never heard of it." So we met actually in a community that I grew up here in Charleston, and it was just tennis courts. It wasn't a pickleball court. So it was just me and him. At that time, he was trying to explain the game. It didn't really make much sense because I wasn't able to see people playing one. It wasn't on a pickleball court. So, there's differences in the structure of a tennis court and a pickleball court. There's no kitchen. It's all these sort of things that I've grown to learn that makes a humongous difference in the game. So when he was teaching me, it was like, okay. In that same community that I grew up in, the guy that ran the rec center for the community taught the kids in the neighborhood how to play ping pong. So when I saw it, I was like, this is something I possibly could do. But here again, I just didn't grasp the understanding of the game. So a month goes by, didn't play it anymore, didn't talk about it anymore. Gave me a call and said, "Des, I know a place where people play pickleball every day. Let's go out and check it out." So that next morning, we went to Moultrie Park down here in Charleston, South Carolina. I saw people playing the game. And that was my first introduction to the game at the time. I just could hit the ball hard. I was athletic. And for me, just learning the game was just getting the ball across the net. So after that day, I fell in love with it. As soon as I started my first game, I was hooked. And I just kept going back every day and eventually got better at the game. So that was my introduction to pickleball. I want to thank my boy, Keiko Ali, for the introduction to this game that, 4 years now, 4.5 years later, I still play every day. So that's my basic introduction to the game.
That's wild, man. So you said 4 years, man. For me, it's been 2, wow. So I actually discovered it when it was about to explode, because most people don't know that it's been around since 1965.
Yeah.
And so I tell a lot of people one of the biggest catalysts for pickleball's growth was the pandemic. Yeah. And that's kind of around the time I discovered it. So it's crazy, man.
I know time goes by so fast. When I say 4 years, it really sounds crazy. And I don't know how accurate I am, but I started in the pandemic. It seems like the pandemic's been about 4 years now, right?
Man, it ain't been that long. It feels like it. It was like, you remember, it was like 2000, 2001, 2021-ish.
Yeah,
I believe.
So at least 3. So I've been
yeah.
I feel like I've certainly been playing this game for at least 3 years, with 40 more years to go. So it's all good.
hey, man, brother. But you're right though, because I'm going on 3, so you're probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, I know I make that 5-year mark, but I think 4 sounds about right. But needless to say, it's been an enjoyable 4 years, right?
Amen, brother. Amen. Likewise.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
All right. So pickleball challenges.
Yeah.
We all face life challenges, but pickleball brings different challenges. So while learning to play the game of pickleball, what type of challenges did you face, or are you still facing? I don't want us to think past tense, because challenges are here always, and we may handle them a little different, but preach a little bit on those challenges you may have faced in the beginning, and some ones that you may be facing now.
Absolutely. So here again, when I started playing pickleball and just started talking to people about the game of pickleball that didn't know much about it, they would always say, it's just old white people that play pickleball, right? That's all I know about pickleball. Old white folks, seniors, retired people play the game that you call pickleball. And that was absolutely true. So when I started pickleball, the same location that I was telling you that I started playing at on a day-to-day basis, I was always the only minority, the only African-American that played the game. So of course that presented some challenges, you would think. But my experience was a little bit different, Coach. The people that I showed up and played with, here again, these are retired white seniors at the time. They were extremely welcoming, man. They were happy to have me. They were patient. They taught me the game. And more importantly, they got used to my personality and accepted me for who I am. A little background on me. Football was my sport. That was my dominant sport. That's what I did throughout school. I played all sports basically in high school, but received a football scholarship and played my football at Johnson C. Smith University, HBCU, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. So with coming from those type of sports, it comes a different type of energy, a different type of communication. And that was the only way that I knew how to play sports. So when I got into pickleball and I would go out there and play in these recreational games, I would communicate. With my partners, I would get excited about a shot that I made, a shot that my partner made, and I'm a talker. And I'm excited, and I bring a lot of energy. And when I got into the game, literally, Coach, no one spoke. So I would go and we would play these games, and you're on the court for 15 minutes and no one said a word. So I think it was an extreme adjustment for the people that played with me on a day-to-day basis, just to get used to me, get used to my personality, get used to how I approach sports, how I show my excitement about things that happen on the court. And fortunately, man, the transition was pretty easy for me. Not to say that I'm sure I annoyed people. I'm sure I irritated some people. That comes in anything that you do. But for the most part, man, people accepted me for who I was. They wanted me to come and play and show up every day. They made sure that I knew that they were happy to see me. They were happy to have the opportunity to play with me. And I think being the only African American in an environment like that and having people make that environment so welcoming, that just helped a lot. And that hasn't changed up to the day. How about yourself?
Woo! Challenges, starting out. So I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I love sports. I love fitness. And, growing up, I've always had this in the back of my mind that I'm either go play professionally in either basketball or soccer, or I'll be a coach. I got to be around the game, something. And so pickleball gave me the opportunity to do all the above. I can play. I'm not pro yet, but I'll be going pro one day. Watch out for me. Watch out now.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It's going down, man, and I'm going to commentate my own game. That's how great I'll be. I'm going to come over here, have my headset on, commentate. Did y'all not see that shot?
I'm telling you.
So when my approach in the beginning, coming where I come from, you had to learn to do things on your own,
Sir.
So I always taught myself how to do things. So when I had that first pickleball lesson, I wasn't going to put the way I play or my future in the hands of someone else. I decided to teach myself, not just go watch YouTube. Only I still watch YouTube all day, every day. I watch all of the pros. I study the game so I can teach my students at their level. I meet them where they are. But I wanted to learn the game at its core, the science of it. So that's why I became a certified pickleball coach. But the challenge with that was it was nobody else that looked like me, that was playing or even coaching.
Yeah.
If I got to be honest, within again, shoot me a message if I'm wrong, but within a 20-25 mile radius of where I am right now, I may be the only African-American coach, and that's a challenge, because, some people are accepting and some people aren't. But, for me, the person that introduced me to the game that I spoke about when I discovered it, she's a certified PPR coach, IPTPA coach, level 1, level 2. So it was just the stars were perfectly aligned for me because the person that introduced me to it, dude, she's an entrepreneur at heart.
Right.
She's well known in the pickleball community and she's well connected. So for me, it was like a guiding light, so I think challenges that other people may face, I didn't have to because my guiding light came and guided the way. I just had to make sure that whenever I took a step, I knew exactly where I was stepping. And if I have my own lane, I drive in my own lane and, try to stay out of other lanes. So as far as challenges, I think the biggest challenge was just being one of the first. We always read about it in history books. You see, this is the first African-American female to be on the USA hockey team.
Right.
And they showed a quote of her. She was like, hey, that's cool, but we shouldn't be having this conversation. That should have been happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for our generation right now, for us, especially being coaches, owners in this gold rush of pickleball, we are the first. We gotta take that and look at that legacy, but it's a challenge also.
It is a challenge. And something very similar I experienced, like I said, every day that I went out and played before business, before any of those things were thought. I went out one day after a couple of months and I just asked the people, I said, do y'all know any other African-American or minority that plays pickleball in Charleston? And it was one name that came up, and his name was Leonard Fox. And Leonard lives 35 miles from where I am, 45 minutes. So a buddy actually was able to get his number. I reached out to Leonard and started linking up with Leonard, and he's one of my closest friends to this day, especially as it pertains to the pickleball community. And we stick together, and we do everything that we can to make sure that people that look like us are able to get the opportunity to get introduced and to learn how to play this game that we love so much. So yeah, I do understand from your perspective the challenges that presented itself to you. I experienced the same thing. I still do to this day. We have grown the minority community here in Charleston, but we still have so much work to do. I come to Atlanta, hang out with you guys, and it's really impressive to see how many African American and minorities that y'all actually have playing the game and playing the game consistently. And I'm amazed by that. And that motivates me on a day-to-day basis to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and making sure that no minorities or communities are left behind.
Right on, brother.
So yeah, that's a little bit of our backstory and some of the challenges that we face getting into this pickleball world. Tell me a little bit about the personal impact that pickleball has had on you.
So, man, all right. So pre-COVID, my mom had a scare and she was placed in the hospital, and the doctor basically told us that, hey, your mom may die, and she's diabetic, and the thing was she wasn't taking care of herself, no physical activity really, nutrition really wasn't where it should be. And so we asked the doctor, my brother and myself, what can we do?
Right.
They said, hey, if she gets out this hospital bed, you guys need to make sure that she's able to move and she's eating well. So when they told me that, I told you in the beginning, man, I don't like leaving anything in anybody else's hand.
Right.
I went and became a certified personal trainer. I became a certified group fitness instructor. I became a nutrition coach, and I became a youth exercise specialist within 4 months, because for one, I want to make sure that the legacy is passed on to my kids. So becoming a trainer and a nutrition coach gave me the tools I needed to get my mom out of that bed and keep her out of that bed. And so, but then COVID hit. So I did all of those different things virtually, right?
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, bro. If you can go back and just look up Fit University, you'll see her pictures of her working out. She's leading the virtual team. Like, it was amazing, phenomenal. But then they opened the doors.
Yeah.
And reality set in because we was going back outside. And so we lost that traction. She wasn't able to sustain what we had just done with her. Right. So now she started losing that, Yeah. But then I found pickleball. Mm-hmm. And when I found pickleball, I said, hey, I told my mom, I was like, hey, you know about pickleball? She was like, no, what is that? So she's 2.5 hours south from me. So I went home, we played pickleball. Now she's in the pickleball community in our hometown. Like, she's playing, she's healthy, she has a community now. So from that personal standpoint, my mom's still alive.
Yes.
And fitness didn't do it which pickleball is fitness as well. That's a whole nother chapter that we can discuss. It is fitness. That's why I love that transition to it, because I was already a fitness coach. This was just another vehicle, to help with just the health and whatnot. And so for her, she's doing well because of pickleball. And that's a huge impact for me, because my kids still got grandma,
Absolutely.
and I love it, so that's a personal impact for me, brother. So what you got for me? What type of personal impact do you have?
Major impact, man. When I discovered this game, it's coming off a really bad knee injury. Never had major injuries through sports. Always kind of stayed healthy, which is kind of hard to believe. I played quarterback, and so this is a different type of football than what you're seeing today. So I was able to kind of stay away from major injuries and that sort of thing. And started playing flag football after I graduated from college. Really enjoyed doing that. And much years later, I was going to Charlotte and playing in a tournament, flag football tournament with some of my college teammates. Super Bowl Sunday, after our game was over, we decided to hang out for a little while and just toss the ball around. Took a regular step and threw the football. And to make a long story short, I tore up ACL, MCL, broken tibia, nerve damage, dislocated kneecap. And literally, coach, I just stepped and threw the ball, something I've done thousands and thousands of times. So when I got to the hospital, when the ambulance got me to the hospital, after I had all the tests and everything, doctor came in and said, first thing, Mr. Brown, you can go ahead and hang the cleats up. You won't be playing any more football. The only time we see injuries like this is in motorcycle accidents. I was like, wow. All I did was step and throw the football. So that leads me to say, once I start playing flag football, the competitive opportunities I felt were over for me because I didn't grow up in a community. I didn't have family members or just adults in my community that I saw exercising. I just didn't see Black folks exercising after the age of 40, after the age of 45, after the age of 50. It wasn't something I saw. So having the opportunity to find this game struck a new desire in me. I'm an extreme competitor. It's a gift and a curse. You understand what I mean? So with that, I realized that I can get back to competing. I can get back to working out. I can get back to chasing goals in sports, because what makes me different than you is you can go in the gym. You can go in and exercise and lift weights and do all these different things. I'm the complete opposite. For so long in my life, I had to do that. Right? It was mandatory. But there were things and rewards for doing that. They were scoring touchdowns and setting records and doing all these wonderful things. And when those things weren't in front of me anymore, I wasn't motivated to do it. So I would do it for a little while. When I felt I was just getting too heavy, I'd jump in the gym and, kick it up for a couple months, get the weight off, and I'm back to the norm. So finding pickleball allowed me to exercise every single day. Wake up in the morning looking forward to competing. So it helped with my health and wellness. I've been able to maintain my weight. I've been able to maintain my health ever since I started pickleball. Every checkup that I've had since starting pickleball, blood work, whatever you can name, has been outstanding. And I attribute all of that to the game of pickleball. I tell all of my doctors, I tell anybody that it was pickleball, because I was just like that before pickleball, up and down with my weight, with my health, making bad decisions on things that I'm putting in my body. And here again, just not exercising consistently. But what I can say is for the last 3 years of my life, I play pickleball every day. If I wake up and if I miss pickleball, that's not a good day for me, right? And I know for a fact in my heart, I can do this for the next 30 years of my life. And I look forward to doing that. And you know why, Coach? Is because I see people on a day-to-day basis that I train, that I work out with, that I play with, that are 60, that are 70, that are 80 years old. And not only they're out there, it's one thing to say that these people are out there, but they're athletes. They're chasing balls. They're running around and hitting balls. They're running down lobs. They're moving no different than 40 and 50 years old. So that was inspiring for me. So if I can say the total impact that pickleball has had on me, my family, and my life, It's been health and wellness, and also giving me the vision, showing me how I should age with health and wellness, making sure that I'm watching the things that I consume, making sure that I'm sweating and I'm exercising and I'm moving these limbs every single day. So I'm so thankful for all of these people, for all of these seniors. It was a joke when we first got in here.
Hey.
Ain't nothing but white seniors play. We talked about that at the beginning, but that has been the biggest blessing for me because I took what I'm learning from them and I'm bringing it to my community. My mom never played a sport in her life. My mom is 73 years old. My mom plays pickleball, just like you, right? The difference is I'm in Charleston. My mom's in Charlotte. So I got her set up in Charlotte. She has a place that she plays. She has a group of ladies that she plays with, and she's never played a sport in her life, and she absolutely loves pickleball. I have everyone in my family playing. My wife never played a sport. She plays pickleball. So with that being said, that's the biggest impact that it's had, not only for me, but the people around me, that now we have something that can help us out with our health and our wellness, that is fun, that's sociable, that we can do, and as long as we're here on earth and we can move a little bit, we found something that we can grow with. I had a quarterback academy pre-pandemic. Of course, when the pandemic happened, we had to shut everything down. We couldn't get around the kids, all this sort of thing. I picked up pickleball, never looked back. You know why? The biggest thing is football was my past. It's something I still have a passion for, something that I still love. But pickleball is what's in my life right now. It's what's current in my life right now. It's what I'm chasing right now. And that makes creating all of the things that we'll get into a little bit later that me and you are doing special to me, because it's what's happening in my life right now. And that's why I chose pickleball and creating a pickleball business and outreach and all the things that me and you are trying to do, rather than continuing on with football.
Right on, right. Well, I'm gonna touch on that. You know, you kind of touched on the business of pickleball. You know, and you know, we always ask each other this, and it's a great question, but I think the answer isn't easy. You know, so for me personally, why did I start a pickleball business? I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Yeah. When I first got my first paddle, someone gave me a discount code to use so that they can get a percentage of that sale without having any paddles on hand. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. I said, but what if I can go directly to the paddle company and see if they'll allow me to sell it myself? And so that's what I decided to do. Yeah. So I reached out to these companies. I said, hey, I'm over here. I'm in the pickleball community. I'm a coach, and I think we can have a great partnership. And they gave me a shot. So now, not only are we doing business with other locations as far as like subdivisions or rec departments, we have product also. You know, we have an online retail store, and we have product on hand to where people can buy all things pickleball through us.
That's awesome.
You know, when I saw that business model up front, because again, like I always try to look beyond what's in front of me. Yeah. And when I saw how that one free class, but then I saw how it was monetized. Yeah. I was like, wow, okay. So that's how you do that. Mm-hmm. Like how you said, hey, our community doesn't know about pickleball and the health benefits. So we saw it, and it's like, hey, we can age with this. But also, it's a business. Like everything's a business. And this is a great business right now to be a part of. So I started the business because I didn't want it to be where us as African Americans, we don't have an opportunity to get in at the ground level.
Yeah.
Because even when we catch up to the party, and how we always say, hey, we'll hear about pickleball 10 years from now. And it's like, whoa, dude, we missed everything. Now we're just the players. You know, we're the athletes. You know, you're almost a show pony.
Right.
You know, but for me, it was like, no. If we're going to be coming to this sport and we're going to be spending money with this sport, why not have our ecosystem revolving in it? So for me, it was like, hey, it's a no-brainer. I love pickleball. I want to play it all the time.
Yeah.
I got a family. How do I provide? Let's start a business so I can do it all day, every day. So that's how I fell into it. That's the short version of why I started as a pickleball business.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And I tell you all the time, I'm extremely proud of you. I'm extremely proud of the things that you're doing and how you're pushing this game, not only just in your area, but all over the United States. So you know how I feel about that. So a little bit about me, why I started pickleball business. This kind of ties into a lot that me and you have been talking about today. Is a pretty crazy story. So I got into pickleball here again, started making my rounds, started meeting all of these people. Things are great. People say, Des, who's a better person to become a pickleball ambassador than you? All of the things that you're doing, how social you are, how you're trying to get people into this game. We would love for you to apply to be a pickleball ambassador. At the time, I didn't know what it was. So I went to the website, kind of researched what becoming a pickleball ambassador look like. I said, well, you know, I do kind of fit the description because basically what I'm reading is you're just an ambassador of the game. Your job is to go spread this game to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I'm thinking that's already what I'm doing. So to make a long story short, I went and applied to become an ambassador. I was doing at the time just a lot of different things, nothing that I'm gaining any money from, but just getting roundups together, getting people out together, getting minorities out to learn the game. So people was like, yeah, we need you to do that. We need you to do that. Jumped in, put my name in the hat. They had at the time maybe 4 or 5 ambassadors. You go through the process, whatever the case may be. At the time, they needed more ambassadors, right? So
hold on one second. I don't mean to cut you off, but are you referring to the USA pickleball ambassador?
Yes. Yeah, okay. But not yes. Gotcha. But you know, each area has their own regional situation, right? So basically they approve you, and then I believe it goes to the head, and then that's how you become a member, but you got to get through your local people first. I knew some of these people. And I won't get into too much details about that, but I never got the call to become an ambassador after I put my application in. I am assuming I was denied, right? So I was just like, that's pretty weird. And then I had a couple of conversations and kind of figured some things out. And I was just like, oh, that's how we're playing the game. So it was a blessing in disguise. The universe has its own way of working things out. I wasn't meant to be an ambassador. My dream, my goals, my visions, the things that I'm doing surpasses that, right? And don't get it twisted. I think becoming an ambassador for the game of pickleball is an awesome thing. We need more. Don't let my experience deter you from doing it if that's something that you want to do. It just didn't work out for me. But like I said, it was a blessing because I wasn't supposed to become an ambassador. So I was playing a lot of pickleball, and I started inviting minority groups at a certain location to try to get more minorities involved with the sport. And that's just not African Americans, but I'm talking Spanish, I'm talking Asian, I'm talking anybody that hadn't been exposed to the game. I would put these messages out weekly and bring people in to learn the game. And that's how I came with We Pickle. Who is we? We is everyone. It's just not a certain race, it's not a certain color, it's not a certain size, it's not a certain age. We pickle, meaning we all pickle. So I decided at that time, as I was getting everything moving and getting all these people to come and participate and people seeing what I have going on, I'm an entrepreneur just like you. I tell people all the time, I'm unemployable. The only two positions I ever played in life, coach, in football is a quarterback and basketball is a point guard. It's hard for me to take orders, right? So I've always been a leader. I've been born to be a leader, and that's the role that has never changed in my life. So that brings me to We Pickle. I started We Pickle, started working with youth, teaching the game of pickleball to youth. I wanted to make sure that I got more middle-aged people playing here. Again, this pandemic, still seniors playing the game. So I thought it was a part of my responsibility to make sure that I expose more people my age to this game, start the next future of pickleball players by tapping into the youth. So I do after-school programs. I have contracts with City of Charleston Recreation, City of North Charleston Recreation, just a whole bunch of different things. So I touch every gamut of this pickleball, from 5-year-olds to 80-year-olds I work with on a day-to-day basis, or We Pickle works with and service on a day-to-day basis. So that's how I got into it. I wasn't good enough to become an ambassador in Charleston, South Carolina. So my boy, I had to start We Pickle Charleston, and we've been doing great, man. I've been extremely blessed, and it's so much work out here for me to do.
Hey, shout out to USA Pickleball, man. They're if you don't know, they're the governing body of pickleball, and if you don't know what that means, hey, just Google it. They set the standards for a lot of different things, so a lot of the rules and regulations, they update them every year. So, with all things, you need some type of accountability, but also you need those rules and regulations too. So shout out to USA Pickleball, man. I put my application in a year ago, I think, and I never heard back. But hey, it's just two brothers out here. Hey, but everything is timing, though.
Yes.
Everything is timing, and the universe it had bigger things for us, and I think if we both would have became ambassadors, it would have boxed us in.
It would have limited it. It would have limited us for sure.
Yes, so hey, shout out to USA Pickleball, because at the end of the day, my players, our community always ask and say, hey, coach, is this serve illegal? Hey, man, here's the USA Pickleball handbook.
Yes, sir. Thank you, USA Pickleball. We still need you.
We do.
Man, this is crazy. This is a crazy story. Me and you've never even had that discussion, so I didn't know your story about it. But another part about that is, after like 2 or 3 months, I knew a couple of people who put their application in to be an ambassador after me, and both of them got in. And then like a month or two later, I get like an email or a text or a call, I can't remember what it was, and asked me why I withdrew my application to become an ambassador. I'm like, are y'all serious?
Hey, man.
It wasn't meant to be.
It's a computer malfunction. Everybody's systems isn't up to par, man. So, but with that being said, man, let's move on to our last one, man. We're talking about growth. What type of growth are you personally trying to see and be a part of? It's so many different areas, and so many opportunities within pickleball at this point. So, what's your thought on just the pickleball growth?
Oh man, I love this question, and I think for both of us, we give a little bit, but not give too much, because it's so many things that's in the making that we're trying to do. But in a nutshell, what I would like to see, and what my goals are in helping with the growth of pickleball, I do a lot with the youth. I have, like I said, I run after school programs. I'm starting my first elementary school pickleball league that will be starting in February, followed up of my first high school pickleball league that will be starting in March. I'm extremely, extremely excited about that, because what you have to understand is by the time these kids from elementary and even some of these kids in high school get an opportunity to go to college, pickleball presents more opportunities, more money, more scholarships, another opportunity to compete. And you were just at the nationals for the college pickleball. And we all know how great that was. So I want to be a part of birthing the next best pickleball players, youth pickleball players, college pickleball players, high school pickleball players. So that's in my plate for 2024. All of that is already set up. All of that is ready to go. I can't wait to get started with that. So that's a part of the growth, because it can't grow if we don't tap into the youth.
Yeah.
There is no growth if we don't get to them early. So I do clinics every Saturday. I have a youth pickleball academy as well, where we're working and we're trying to advance and make kids the best pickleball players they can be. I have community roundups at 4 or 5 different locations every Saturday morning to actually introduce our youth to pickleball, starting off at the age of 5. We do that at 5 different locations. We're in underserved communities, which is extremely important to me. Kids that look like me, kids that look like you. We didn't have the opportunities to get these games when we were 5 years old, 10, 15 years old. These kinds of sports didn't make it to us. So I wanted to make sure that kids didn't have that excuse as it pertains to pickleball. The right word is not excuse. Their story wouldn't be that they weren't exposed to that game. So I go into these underserved communities. I go into communities like the community that I grew up in. I actually do stuff in the community that I grew up in to make sure that kids that look like me, that look like you, get an opportunity to play this game. So that's a big thing with me, youth. Raising our youth, birthing our youth, producing the next generation of pickleballers. The second part of the growth is to see more minorities playing this game on a consistent basis. The biggest challenge that I've had in starting pickleball business, whatever it is that I'm doing, is having my people, African Americans, being consistent in playing this game and growing the amount of players that we had. I told you at the beginning of this podcast, it started off with 2 people I know, myself, Leonard Fox. I started the Port City Pickleball Club. That grew to 40 or 50 people within 3 or 4 months, right? Play for a while, consistency, falls off, come back. So right now it's really important for me to make sure that I hone in on that community, get people out, get people exercising, get people moving around and playing this game consistently. That's very important. The second thing is I want to make sure that we introduce, I'm an HBCU alumnus, that we get this game to our colleges. That's something that me and you are actively working on now. I'll be at Johnson C. Smith University next month doing a clinic for the tennis team, and also just any students that are interested in learning this game. You've already had clinics at Morehouse University. So those are the things that are very, very important for me. Getting our youth rolling, getting people that look like me playing this game, getting our seniors off the couch playing this game, and make sure that we tap into these HBCUs and make sure that they don't miss the boat on these great opportunities that the NCAA will produce in the next year or 2 by making this an official sport. These kids, some kids are already getting scholarships in pickleball, but you talking about NIL, coach, all these different things that can come from this. We can't be left out of it. And that's one of the things I'm focused on. Those are the things that have a lot of my attention. And those are some of the things that I'm going to make come to fruition and I work on and focus on every day. That's my growth.
Yeah, I don't have much to say, man, because you just you hit all the notes that I'm thinking as well. You know, the youth is so important. You know, we're about to Hey, I just came up with something as we were talking. Your academy versus my academy. Neutral ground is going down.
It's going down.
So
how do young folks say? Say less.
Hey, no sir. Hey, so because as they say, when you build it, they'll come, and they're coming. Prime time, baby. We here. So the youth HBCUs is just, man, that's all love, And being at the nationals, it was either last week or the week before last.
Yeah,
it was over 500 kids, students from all over the country.
Wow.
All the top dog, University of North Carolina, Tar Heels, Michigan. I think we might have had Harvard out there, dude. You talking about you had a couple representatives from here. Georgia Tech, I believe, was there. Mm-hmm. Auburn, like all the colleges. Not one HBCU. And
not one.
And I searched. I went there and enjoyed myself. I just made some good connections. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find one HBCU. And the biggest thing for me is, and this is part of the growth, all these big dogs, the USA Pickleball, Yola, Selkirk, all these big entities that are, hey, let's grow pickleball. Yeah. Let's do pickleball for everyone. But it's always a but. And that but is a problem because it's almost intentional. I'm slightly offended because this is our podcast, so I can say how I feel. I'm slightly offended because we toss that word around, or that slogan around. Pickleball is for everyone. APP. I'm talking about you all too, because y'all change y'all name to include everybody. Right. And that's another chapter. But not one HBCU team was there, and we don't see any sign of, hey, let's go over here and introduce them to pickleball too. So we have to do that.
That's a blessing in disguise, because that's what we gonna do.
Oh, they're coming now, because when they get wind of this podcast and they start hearing about this, they're gonna see dollar signs. Hey, check this out. You heard it here first. They're gonna see dollar signs, so they're gonna come. It is what it is. But we're doing it from the heart. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we want to see happen, and we gave you our reasons. But that growth, it's gonna happen because of us.
Yes,
because
sir.
We're gonna talk about it. They're gonna catch wind. Some little birdie is gonna land on somebody's porch, and they're gonna say, "Hey, there is another market that we missed," and they're gonna come. Yeah, and it's all good, because at the end of the day, we want you to come. Why do you think we're talking about you? We need you to come.
Absolutely.
We need you to come.
Just holler at us.
Hey, come over here. So you want to sit down? Let's sit down. You come to the podcast.
Come rap with your boys, man. Yeah. Come on.
Hey, we'll let you share the platform, because at the end of the day, we know that it takes all of us. Yeah. It takes all of us. USA Pickleball, all those brands that we mentioned. We gave y'all some free promo, but we need that residual on the back end, Talk to us. Yeah, talk to my guy Des. But the growth, man, I want to see the HBCUs get more involved, and I want to see more businesses that look like us, that are in pickleball. I want to see us do more tournaments. Dude, the tournament revenue is bananas when you do it correctly. From the sponsorships to the players, it's so much opportunities. But hey, I don't think many of us are actually doing those type of things. The only person that I see when it comes to the corporate stance is, please forgive me, but it's the referee. Yeah. Yeah. He's the number one. He's over the referees. Mm-hmm. But that's it. Think about that. You don't see any commentators. You don't see any analysts. You don't minus the business owners, but that's if we got to be technical, that's IP.
Yeah.
intellectual property, like it is what it is. So I think I want to see that growth also. I want to see more of us, more minorities have an opportunity to, get their stake in right now. So yeah, HBCUs, the youth, and just more opportunities for people to actually own a piece of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going down, man. I know we took up a good amount of time on our first podcast, man. Y'all just don't know how excited me and Coach are to have the opportunity to do this. But that's it for today. We're going to have plenty more of these coming. So make sure you check us out. I'm Coach Des Brown. We Pickle Charleston. Coach Antonio Pullen. Dad Pickleball. First Serve. We out, ya.